Hi, I'm Vivian Gwynn, author of Truly Teach Me Tarot, and I'd like to welcome you back to the next class in the series of videos on how to make connections and find links between tarot cards when they turn up on a spread. 8 of Cups. Okay, 8 of Cups. I'm going to put it down there, you can see. And the base card this time is Ace of Pentacles. Right, so we've got two different suits here. We've got cups governed by the element of water, and we have pentacles governed by the element of earth. Now, just quickly looking at the 8 of Cups, we see this figure walking away from 8 cups that have been neatly stacked up, very orderly stacked, and the cups deal with the emotions and our spiritual pursuits, our social aspect in life, our interpersonal relationships, our inner happiness and external happiness, and what we put value, true value and meaning on in life. Their journey and their mission in life is to find that inner happiness and personal fulfillment that kind of elevates them. Not exactly, you know, interest in the pursuits of the material. They have to kind of experience an inner joy and a sense of harmony about their environment. So they're not as driven in that way as the Pentacles would be. So we see this figure, he's walking away from these cups, and as we see the night sky and the moon, and there's an eclipse happening at the moment. The number 8 in numerology is a great number of power and strength, and it follows on from the strength card in tarot, in the major arcana. So it's a quality of strength. It's not always physical strength, it's an inner strength. And because we're dealing with the cups and the emotions, it's an emotional strength. He has the emotional strength to leave behind a situation that's no longer giving him the fulfillment that he needs. We see this gap here formed, and he's, you know, there's something still missing in his life. He hasn't found what he's looking for yet. So we see him go off. It's like a soul searching journey he's on. This could be an actual physical journey, or it's just, you know, an internal journey. He's going to find, he's still trying to find meaning in his life, and he's going off in search of it. And we know in the 9 of Cups, he gets that extra cup, and we can see the whole colour shifts in the card, and the energy changes, and there's a great sense of joy, and he's after getting what he wished for. But at the moment, he hasn't achieved that yet. So the cups also to deal with the, you know, artistic and creative pursuits. So we might see these cups as you know, creative and artistic projects that this man has been working on. Is he going off to get materials to create this cup that will fit in there? The cups as well are quite, as I said, spiritual, and their spirituality would mean a lot to them. So he's built up this, and it's something that he's acquired over the years. It hasn't come from, they start off in the Ace of Cups and they slowly work their way towards it. But he's walking away from this. We don't know as of yet whether he's happily walking away. Is it by choice? Is it by force? Has he been told to go? So with this card, we often get a sense of abandonment. He has to abandon something, maybe something that he had put a lot of his emotional effort into, something that meant an awful lot to him at some stage. He's either making the choice himself to go, or he's been forced to go. He might have to leave behind an unhappy relationship, or he may have been told to get out, literally, as well. So there's all sorts of connotations that build up around the 8 of Cups. And the only way you determine what those are is to look at the surrounding cards to see whether he's the abandoned person, or is he doing the abandoning, and what it actually is that he's abandoning. So something has changed in this setup. Now this could be emotional baggage as well, that he's walking away from. He's had enough of. The cups also deal with, you know, socializing, so there'd be drinking, there'd be excess. So maybe he's turning his back on that, or he's He's trying to move away from it in search of a better life. So we see that he's finding the strength at this stage to make that journey. So what used to give him great joy and fulfillment, or what he hoped would give him great joy and fulfillment, has been eclipsed by something else. It's the shine has gone off it, and we're going to explore why that might be. So in the Ace of Pentacles, we have the element of earth, and we find they're the material suit. They're the stable and security suit. They're the ones that can't live and love alone. They have to have something solid and lasting. They're very grounded, so they want to build a life themselves, something that's secure, steady and lasting. They're the ones who, this money, financial gain, saving money, making money, ventures, financial ventures, receiving money, inheriting money, having the money to go somewhere. So we see it in the ace. We have, again, the aces are potential, they're beginnings. This hand is saying there is potential there for material gain, to set off on a new venture that will give material gain, that will be more solid, more grounded. We also have the Ace of Pentacles. The Pentacle suit are about, having, being healthy, being strong in body, looking after yourself, taking care of, what you put into your body, and exercise. So we might see the start of a new goals. So we have this would be very much a goals card. It's a very definite goal, and we see that in the Pentacles a lot. They're kind of mesmerized and fixated on the pentacle that they hold, because that is what they're working towards, and it means an awful lot to them. So what is this card doing with the Cups, who really aren't that way inclined? Let's just start with one of the connections that I'm making kind of straight off is, I've just mentioned about the health aspect, and the fresh starts, new starts, trying to have a new way of being. Let us think of this figure now who's, been drinking every night, goes out drinking at the weekend, eating too much, could even be drugs as well. But I think when we go into reverse with the card, we see more so that kind of heavy excess. But it's somebody maybe who's turning the way they're beginning to, they want to head off in this new journey. So they're moving from there, walking into here. So this is going to be their new health regime, their new way of living. They're going to start cutting back maybe on the alcohol, getting active, getting fit, eating healthy, minding what goes into the body. And they kind of kick back from that as well. The bonuses, the Pentacles are reminding you, you're going to save money as well. Maybe he realised he's been spending too much money on all this drink, all those bottles of wine and, crates of beer, all add up at the end of the day. Maybe he has something that he's working towards now. He might have just been, going along, that's the way he lived, hanging out with friends. But he now, for a long time, I'd say he's wanted to make these changes. He's wanted to implement them. He's wanted to get away from the way he's been living. And the 8 coming in gives him the emotional strength to move away, because all these alcohol, food, they are crutches, and that's his crutch there that he's walking on. So he's walking away from saying he might have his back to them, but they still have a hold on him, and the lure would be to go back to it all the time. So he's actually turned his back, like, no, I've done with that. Maybe he's emptied the bottles down the sink or given them away to somebody else, and he's moving on into this new type of lifestyle for himself, where he's going to kind of, go on the dry, give up the alcohol. This could be dry January that he's going on, where he's excess over the Christmas time. So he's starting with this keep fit regime, dieting, and living a healthier lifestyle altogether. So let us think of what else connection-wise we might find. Right, we look at this again from, I spoke earlier about the Cups being connected to creative pursuits. They like to kind of involve themselves in projects, careers, environments that appeal to them on a kind of a creative and artistic point of view. They wouldn't be as driven financially as the Pentacles would be. are the ones, say, they just want to be happy doing what they're doing. Now, maybe this figure here has been trying to make a living doing creative, artistic things. Maybe these are cups that he's made, and he's tried to, you know, work in a job or do his own thing where he could earn enough money doing what he wanted to do. Why is he walking away though? And why is he walking away towards the Ace of Pentacles? Maybe the Ace of Pentacles is offering him something that he can't actually find here. Could it be possibly that this hasn't worked out for him, even though that's where his passion lies and that's where his love lies and that's where his personal fulfillment? Maybe temporarily he has to leave that behind so he can go and earn some money. Maybe he has to go and get a job so that he can pay the bills. Perhaps he has to go and earn some money so that he can bring it back here to continue the work that he's been doing. He could possibly, if he feels that, you know, he's reached a stage where he's been building up this, he's maybe have a workshop or he's creating these lovely items, works of art, pottery, you name it. Maybe he's looking for financial investments and backing. He could even be looking for a grant or funding. The Pentacles is often about receiving money, coming into money that helps you get on to launch yourself in life. It's kind of a lucky card where, you know, sometimes it's just a case of you have money, or you've always had money, or you come from money. Money isn't an issue when the Ace of Pentacles appears, because it's kind of in the hand, and you are in a position where you can actually work with it and start working towards goals and plans. So maybe his goal is to go and get funding and acquire and be able to show. He might have to knock at several doors before he finds somebody who will say, well, oh yes, this is quality work, and I will back you. I'm prepared to back you, because there's often a benefactor or a patron in the Ace of Pentacles who will offer you the money or inherited money, a legacy of some sort. So perhaps he's going to find that, or else maybe he has to move away from what he gives him the personal fulfillment to go out and actually get a job. Let's look at it another way now. Perhaps the figure in the Eight of Pentacles, what he's leaving behind, maybe a failed relationship, a failed marriage, something that maybe that had started off, when we see the eclipse here, it had started off providing everything that he needed in life and was made him happy, but something has shifted, something has changed. It no longer offers him the happiness and joy it once did, and perhaps the cups, they wouldn't walk out on relationships that quickly. They'd struggle with it for some time. They'd go downhill within themselves. They kind of hang in there as long as possible, but when it reaches a stage where they say there's actually nothing left, there's something dreadfully missing in this relationship, they might decide to call it a day. So you may find the Eight of Cups often turns up in relationship readings when you find somebody is preparing to leave, ready to leave, or has already left. So we spoke earlier about being abandoned or being the person who was abandoned. So it depends which side of the fence you're on this stage. Are you the person who's leaving the relationship or the person that is being left? Now, all this is their accumulated emotional life, even their everything they invested in the relationship or the marriage. They're walking away. They don't see them carrying any cup with them at all. They're walking away with that stick, quite weary, saying that, listen, take everything. I'm not going to argue over the bits and pieces we have. I'm not happy, so I'm going to leave. So this person has the emotional strength to walk away from a situation that no longer gives them the joy, the happiness, fulfillment. And what are they going to do? They're going to make a complete new start. Now, this could represent this coin, like we saw on the Seven of Pentacles as well. This may suggest what they have to start all over again financially. They only have X amount of money that they have to make work for them, like they did in the past. They made it work for them. They built up everything. They might have had the house, the family, everything invested in this situation here, and now that's all gone. So they're back to scratch once more, but they might have a little bit of money that they say, this is what I have to live on. So they could find themselves going from living in a family home, having to rent a small house or lodge in somebody's house, or say, I've got this to live on, but they have to start building up again, so they're going to have to start saving. But you see in the Ace of Pentacles, there's nothing depressing about that whatsoever. There's a sense of, you know, independence and in that I can do this, I will do this, and I'm prepared to do this, that I don't need much to live on. I'll survive on what I have, and I'll make do, and I will, you know, in time things will improve. We see the garden here, and you know, this lovely trees and flowers blooming, so it's a fertile environment, so something productive is going to come out of this journey and of this moving away from this kind of unhappy or unfulfilling situation. Let's look at this as well, where it is just simply a journey. He's leaving, this figure is leaving behind everything he knows, but he's stacked it all up. He might even have put everything in storage, and it's or left it somebody looking after it. So because it's all nice and orderly here, we think that that's okay. Not like the Five of Cups, where the cups are scattered all over the ground. This seems to be quite organised, and like he hasn't left anything to chance there at all. And maybe he just wants to go away on a bit of a venture. He may want to travel. He may want to you know, travel the world and explore different areas. Maybe this has all become too samey, and perhaps the Ace of Pentacles is saying that he saved enough money to go on this journey, that financially he's okay, or you know, he might be renting out his property here, leaving it all in the care of another, while he uses that money to travel and to go on a journey. He might also, the Ace of Pentacles might suggest that he has X amount of money to survive him, but he might decide to work his way around places. So we could have him traveling around the world and getting jobs here and there that will finance his journeys. And so this could be a physical journey he's going on. Maybe he feels that his life is pretty limiting here. Let's think back to the Six of Cups. You know, there's no progress, there's no ascension, there's no development. Everything has come to a standstill, and it's time. In the Seven of Cups, he kind of examined why that was, and you know, he had a lot of choices, but what was going to do it for him. And the Eight of Cups, he's decided that, you know, the Six of Cups scenario is kind of, he's outgrown it, and now he wants to spread his wings a little bit, and he wants to go out and see what's out in the world there. So he's prepared to journey forth and leave behind his secure little environment that he had here. But it looks pretty organised to me, especially when you have the Ace of Pentacles. So he has the money behind which to do, and he's sorted this out, and he's worked it all out. He's not a fool. He's not just kind of, you know, wandering around aimlessly. He's got a plan, and he's sorted, and he's budgeted properly for this. We also must look at the cups from their interest in the, you know, spiritual pursuits of life, also religious pursuits as well. There's a chance that he's turning his back on the spiritual life in favour of the lure of the material world, the material gain, that there's a fascination for him there. He might have been offered an opportunity which he feels he can't turn down, something that's pretty lucrative for him. Others might say to him, but that's not you at all. You won't be happy doing that. But the temptation of this is great. So he might be turning his back on his values up to now, and you know, what he considered was important in life, in favour of material gain. Now, this could be, you know, there's a personal choice, or else it's been forced upon him, or circumstances have it. He might have no other option but to go. And especially as well in family scenarios where during the recession that one of the partners often had to go quite far afield and even into another country to work, to earn money, to get money to send it back home. And with the heavy heart, they had to leave all their family behind, but they had to go out and actually find the money to send it back, because this wasn't here, so they had to go out in search of it. Perhaps the search for finances here and financial stability that the Ace of Pentacles would bring, maybe these are his creative pursuits here, and he's trying to find a way. He's searching, looking different ways that he could make this work from where the money is in this. How does he do it? Does he set up an online shop? Does he bring his creations to outlets and try and sell them there? Does so he might be searching to find how am I supposed to make money out of what I do? And a lot of people do that. They say, I'm good at this, I'm talented at this. How will I make that work for me financially? How will I earn a living out of it? So he might be going off to explore. So it may not be an actual physical journey, but he might be exploring his options as to how he can make this work for him. Now we also have to think of the cups. Sometimes they're a bit idealistic, and they can be airy-fairy in what they, their dreams and what they're working towards, that it may not be very realistic. So he may have been, especially in the Seven of Cups where he's just come from, it is all kind of building castles in the sky, fantasizing, wishful thinking, conjuring up images of things that, really, is it viable? Is it feasible? With the Seven of Cups came procrastination as well. I'm going to write the book, I'm going to do this, and it never happens. So sometimes when the Seven of Cups, when you face all these things, in the Eight of Cups you have to face up to reality. And you may see him now, these may be the cups he was dreaming about, and all the temptations of the Seven of Cups. And he now has them, instead of floating in the sky, he's brought them all down to earth and stacked them up, and he can see exactly what they are now. They're just cups and they're probably empty. So what he has to do now is abandon all those silly notions he had and go and live in the real world. He has to get real. He has to come down to earth and do something solid, productive, instead of being dreaming and wishful thinking all the time. The time for procrastination is over. He has to move away from this influence of Seven of Cups, and he's doing that in the Eight of Cups. Whether he likes it or not, he has to get real. If going back to the situation, maybe about an unhappy relationship, it could be that it doesn't matter which partner it is. They may have been a time where they weren't able to leave because the circumstances weren't right. When we see the Ace of Pentacles, we say they have the money to get out. The time is right for them to make a move and get out. They won't be struggling. They will manage. Often when a relationship begins to fail, there's that worry that, how will I survive? Where will I get money from? How will I pay my bills? When a family splits up. But the Ace of Pentacles saying, get out. You have the money. You can survive. You can make it work. So you're in a position to leave if you're that unhappy. So don't be, telling yourself that it's not possible. The Ace of Pentacles says it is a reality. You can actually do this. The message also that would come with that card possibly is, if you are waiting to have everything in place and, hoping to get a lot. We often see this card come up for somebody who walks away lightly. They don't take an awful lot with them. With the shirt on their back, basically, they go. And so don't be waiting around to have everything in place before you make that move. Sometimes it's a situation of just saying, that's it, I have to go now. And don't be thinking of, taking a huge load of bags and baggage with you. It's just to make that move and to travel as light as possible. Take only what you can with you and leave the rest. Now I'm going to start reversing these cards. I'm just playing around them to get a different idea. So what if we reverse this Eight of Cups? We might find a situation where the person really needs to make that journey, really needs to maybe detach or physically leave a situation that's not bringing them happiness anymore, but they're blocked. They either believe they can't, they feel they don't, well, they have to be reversed as well. So they feel they don't have enough money, the time isn't right for them, that they wouldn't be able to stand on their own 2 feet. So this often stems from an inner fear, and they'll stick with something that's unfilling rather than face up to and be courageously make that move to actually get out. We can also look at this as when we see the reversed 8 of Cups as well. In the upright, we have the somebody walking away, the figure moving away from all this that he's created in his life. It could be a relationship, family, home, a job, anything like that. And when it reverses, we can find the return of that figure, that they returned from their journeys. They've either found what they were looking for and have returned home with it, or perhaps they've returned home because they can't manage on their own, or it hasn't worked out for them, or they weren't fully sorted in their head. They didn't do their soul searching enough to actually get out. We could also, we have the Ace of Pentacles reversed. We could be looking at a scenario where they go home and the money runs out. They'll travel as far as they can, and you know, if you're in a relationship and this was, is my partner going to come home? Is my husband, wife going to come back to me? And you saw this, you depend on surrounded cards saying, there's a chance that person will come home, but I'm not sure what the reasons are for them coming home. To me, that wouldn't, if I saw maybe Cups related cards here, I'd be saying maybe they're coming home because they miss you, they miss the life they had, they've made a mistake. But we have the Ace of Pentacles reversed, and could be suggesting that when the money when the money runs out, they'll be home. And this might be a pattern that the person gets involved with. They may also realise that they can't make it on their own, that they can't stand on their own 2 feet, or that an opportunity they thought they had there didn't work out for them, and they're left with no option but to return. We're going to turn the Ace of Pentacles up now, and the 8 of Cups upright, we see the person going on a journey in search of some meaning in their life. When it reverses, we have a journey, all right, but it's somebody's aimlessly drifting. There's no sense or purpose to them. They can't make their mind up about what it is they want. They don't know what they want. They don't know who they are. And instead of spending the time, maybe spending time with the hermit trying to work out what it is they want, they just drift aimlessly. So we could have, and this card here, the Ace of Pentacles, this could be showing a case of casual worker, moving away from place to place to place, taking the odd job here and there, and then moving on again. This would suggest to me somebody who doesn't stay very long in a position, who's, you know, gives up pretty easily. We have them, all right, moving away from, it could be a job as well, but it's generally because they're unhappy and they've given it, you know, due thought and it's gone through due process. But in the 8 of Cups reversed, if that was somebody coming in for a job, I'm saying, I'm not sure if this person has great staying power. They might have a habit of moving from job to job. They don't stay very long because they don't know what it is they want. They can't settle with anything, so they're constantly on the move. And they, you know, casual labour, migrant labour, transient labour, passing through. We mentioned earlier on at the very beginning about the health aspect connected to the Pentacles, and walking away from an unhealthy life, so maybe excess, too much drinking, too much eating, the whole lot, too much socialising, and starting off this new health regime. Now if we reverse those, we may find that an abandonment of the programme. The person who joins the gym in January makes it there for a couple of weeks and never goes back again. So all the good intentions of the Ace of Pentacles, the commitment to getting fit, losing weight, all goes by the wayside, and they return to the drinking, the excess, and the ways that they were in before they tried to make the good intentions to start afresh. So we have 8 reverse. So when 8 reverses, we get the loss of strength, the loss of inner strength, loss of inner power, the loss of, you know, personal discipline. So because we're dealing with the Cups in this area, we're dealing with loss of emotional discipline, and it's they might stay off the drink for a while, but they won't be able to keep it up. This doesn't hold the lure with them that it really should. They're not able to stick with their goals and work towards them, so they just fall back into the road. if we were to see the Ace of Pentacles reversed and the Eight of Cups, we may have a situation where this person is walking away from a situation before he or she is ready to. Stuff isn't in place. They don't have the finance to go. They're making a rash move. They're not yet ready. They need to go back and put things in place and to get themselves more established and stable, financially stable, before they can go on that journey. So it might be very tempting to leave, but saying not yet ready for it. Hold on. You need more before you can actually walk away. If this figure has been gone in search of financial backing for his creative pursuits, maybe these are paintings he's done, things he's made, book he's written, a painting he's created, and he's gone out trying to sell his wares, sell his creations. The Eight of Pentacles reverse might be showing us that he's not having much luck in that area. If he's been looking for backing and funding to set up his business with his creations, and he may find that there's nobody prepared to back him. Now he'll need to look into why that is. He may not have done his work correctly. He may not have a proper plan in place. It may be a case of just going back to the drawing board and getting a more cohesive business plan drawn up so he can bring it back and show them. But he might find that he's not making the money. If he's trying to sell his goods, it's harder for him to sell them than he actually expected to be. As we all know, if anybody's setting up business and you know your stuff is good, people tell you, and family and friends, oh my gosh, that is gorgeous, those works, they could sell those, you'd get a good bit of money for those. But the reality of it is, when you go out, it's much harder in respect. Trying to get money in and get people to part with their money is extremely difficult. So he may have to accept that the money is not in this venture, and what he was going out in search of, that he's discovered after his journeys and after his exploration and after search, that it's not financially viable. So there's just a selection of connections we could make with these cards. There's so many more of them, and if you want to leave in the comments box below your own versions and things, because I'm talking here as I'm doing it, so my mind is, I'm not getting the time to formulate new ideas, so I'm only going with what I have. Generally, when I turn the video off, I see loads of other things, or later that day I'm thinking about it and I see more stuff. But we could go on forever, and we're just trying to really just give an idea here. So I'm hoping that after this video and the series of videos, you will be in a better position to make these connections yourself. And don't forget, if you like the video, subscribe to my channel. If you want notifications about updates on new videos, don't forget to hit the bell button, and I will see you back the next time. So again, thank you for watching.